It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Yeah, it's that third year that really gets me. If you were to do a 2-year deal in that $60 million range, something around what we expected given what they could afford financially after getting Peyton Watson, I might have been okay with it. Paying him over $30 million in his age 39 season seems very, very irresponsible to me. Obviously, his playoff track record speaks for itself. I'd be very scared of how that contract is going to age. I kind of chuckled to myself when I saw the trade kicker because nobody's trading for that contract. 3 years, $97 million for somebody who turns 37 next week. I just think that's a little bit irresponsible.
CBS Sports' Sam Quinn talking about the James Harden contract. Overpaying people seems like a problem, and he clearly seems overpaid. The playoff track record, yeah, they've been to a conference final. They want to get to an NBA final. Is this the guy who's going to ride? Mitchell, Mobley, Harden, Allen, and Sam Merrill out of Bountiful High School in Utah State are the 5 guys under contract for that 28-29 season, which puts them in $200 million. Now, right now, the second apron is $20 million. You'd have $20 million for the rest of the team. Will it go up the next couple of years? Yes. Will they have $30 or $40 million to build out the rest of the team? Doesn't seem like that's good enough. Philadelphia, just this coming year. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Miami with Antetokounmpo. How many of these teams can they beat in the playoffs? When are they going to run into one of them? It looks like Cleveland is caught in what I like to refer to as the NBA cul-de-sac. You're going forward, but you're not going to go very far because it looks like there's homes in the way. What are you going to do? I think you're going to back up and you're going to start over. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Jazz spent 4 years backing up because they got caught in the NBA cul-de-sac. And it's super easy to do. There's a traffic jam in the NBA cul-de-sac. There's a lot of traffic there. I can't believe the Knicks made it through. I thought they were jammed up in the cul-de-sac, but they made it through. And they got to Titletown. But the path to Titletown is complicated. It's a maze. But it's amazing when you get there. Oh, why isn't PK here to witness this kind of greatness? All right, that's about enough out of you. Part 1. Lakers minority owner Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong not selling his 4% stake. I learned yesterday reading a story, 3 minutes of my life I can't get back, 3 minutes closer to death, nothing to show for it. Don't know why I read that story. I learned more about the Raiders' minority owners. I don't care. I don't care who the minority owners are. The majority owners, they're the ones who make the decisions about hiring, firing GMs and coaches and whether big-time free agents get big-time contracts. So those are the people I care about. When the then Padres owner, Peter Seidler, said, hey, $200 million payroll? Ha! We're going over that. We're going way over that. That's the kind of stuff I care about. I mean, great for Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong that he is sitting on $15 billion, but he's 4% owner. He doesn't decide what happens. And now it's news because he's not selling? Okay, fine. They were trying to figure out how Jeannie Buss could stay as a governor. I don't care if she stays as a governor. She's not going to stay as a governor. The team's been sold twice now. We got 2 new owners since the family sold. It's just a matter of time. And now we know exactly what Bob Iger meant when he said, I like to work with her, but, we'll see what happens. And we're like, well, dude, you either want to work with her or not. You're either going to fire her or not. Oh, he knew the other kids were going to sell and that by NBA rules, she couldn't be the governor anymore. And he had no say over that because he's not selling part of his team to get her back to a 15% stake. Okay, now I get it. All right, that's about enough out of you, part 2. The Sacramento Kings. You guys can be a mess. That's fine. Somebody needs to be a mess. It might as well be you. I feel bad for the people of Sacramento. I worked in Sacramento. It's a good fan base. They show up. They spend their money. They cheer. Like everybody else, they want their team to win. And they get very little of that. So I feel bad for the fan base. But as far as the organization, wow, what a clown show. What a bunch of crazy mistakes they make. I like that they fill up what is trending because they seem to fire a coach every 3 weeks, so it gives us something to talk about. That's good. But now we got the ex-Kings trainer filing a suit alleging pregnancy discrimination. Hey, Kings, you have messed up a lot of stuff. But really, a trainer who's pregnant, you can't just let just let people live their lives, let it be. Why does this have to be a thing? Just stick with drafting the wrong person and firing the coach too quickly. Just stick with the mistakes you know. I'm about to break into waterfalls. I'm really close. I'm going to let out the inner Beyonce here if I'm not careful. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't go chasing pregnancy discriminations. Stick to the rivers that you used to know. Stick to firing the coaches you used to know. All right. The NBA's second apron claims yet another victim. Could the Nuggets cost-cutting eventually cost them Nikola Jokic? Quietly, Nuggets star Nikola Jokic can become a free agent next summer. Who writes this stuff? Did you write that, or is that the lead to a story and somebody else wrote that?
That's the lead.
So that was plagiarism. It was bad plagiarism. Quietly, Nuggets superstar Nikola Jokic can become a free agent. Nothing quiet about it. It's still your way. I've read that 10 times. Joker to the Lakers. If Denver does something great and puts together a great roster, he'll stay there. He's wasting his prime there. He's a very smart basketball player. He is well aware of the shortcomings in that roster and in that team. And there's been tons of speculation. He's friends with a certain European player who plays in Los Angeles for the Lakers. Can the Lakers put the Joker together with Luka Doncic? And what would that look like? Well, it might be terrifying for the West. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Mendoza play fake, and he throws one over the middle. It's picked off. Here we go. Across the 40, the 50, it's Woodhouse. The 40 of the Raiders, the 30. Mendoza trying to chase him down at the 15, 10, 5. Rock and roll. Does he get in? Yes! Touchdown! Officials checking the sideline, and
to
Woodhouse.
the house.
Yes.
Yes. It was play action play and went through my progression. Probably should have checked it down to the flat. Saw the flat player relate to him. And at that point, I started backing up and threw the check down to Mike Washington, and it was not a good throw. We weren't on the same page, and it was a interception.
And a pick six. I just can't stare at Fernando Mendoza and just think, okay, you're the number one pick. You're going to come in. You're going to be awesome. You're going to light the world on fire. He's going to struggle. He might end up being really good because I'm old enough to have watched John Elway struggle, and then he went to 5 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. Yeah, he figured it out. But he lined up behind the guard. The dude is lost, literally lost. Typically, if you want the ball and you're the quarterback, you line up behind the center. John wasn't clear on that in the middle of a game in his rookie season because everything was moving fast. But back-to-back Super Bowls, legend, Hall of Famer. And not the only guy who struggled. Troy Aikman was 1-15 and just getting the stuffing beat out of him. And then he won 3 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning was a mess as a rookie, throwing interceptions all over the place. And he went to 4 Super Bowls and he won 2, and he's a legend. And I'm not old enough to remember Jim Plunkett. Well, okay, I am, but I really don't know much about it other than it happened. Plunkett won a Rose Bowl and a Heisman Trophy and then got drafted and washed out. I think he was on his 3rd team with the Raiders when he figured it out. He didn't do anything for the Patriots who drafted him. And he won 2 Super Bowls. It's been going on forever. Give him time. Of course he sucks early on. He was great at Indiana. Yeah, and the defense was great. I think they gave up like 11 points a game last year and were 2nd in the nation. Of course they went undefeated. Give him time. We'll see how it plays out. More bad people, players, fighting, Giants, Dolphins practice. More bad people. Cowboys Saints fined $500,000 for brawls in a joint practice. $500,000 is pocket change. Sounds dramatic. It's close to nothing. About $500,000 away from nothing. Saquon Barkley. I hate joint practices. Apparently he gets chippy and likes to start fights. Like he starts it and then he gets out of the way and lets the old lineman do it. He'll get his licks in. I just don't understand the fighting. What are you doing? And I saw some coaches come out and, 15-yard penalties, and we're going to kick guys out. Maybe that's why we're having so many fights. Maybe guys are like, I don't want to be in this thing. I might as well get kicked out. I'm a vet. I'm okay. I got my roster spot. They're paying me. I'm going to start. Vita Vea dismisses any trade talk. He got his extension. He says they want to be a buck for life. He just wanted his money, and now he got some more money. Troy Aikman on the Cowboys' playoff failures. It starts at the top. That's true. It's not big a shock. It's just a shock to hear it come out of Troy because Troy is a Cowboy lifer, and Troy loves a lot of things about the Cowboys and the fan base and the people in the organization and the owner, and that he would go right at Jerry That's, I think, what's catching people's attention. For someone like me to say it, yeah, so what? I don't have some lifelong relationship with Jerry Jones. Troy does, and he says it. And it does start at the top because you're hiring all the coaches and you're making a bunch of the personnel decisions, including on draft day and free agency. So, yeah, absolutely it starts at the top. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
I had a couple people bring to my attention that there may be up to hundreds of players who are released here in the final NFL cutdown day, which comes Sunday, August 30th, that could somehow find their way back to colleges. They have to cut down to 53 by Sunday, August 30th. Some of those, depending on these judges' rulings, now will look to go back to college because colleges will pay. There will be players who have choices to make. Do I go to this practice squad where I can make this amount of money, or do I go back to college? If they go back to college, then colleges have to cut players to make room for the players that were just in NFL camps competing for NFL jobs. And again, I know we're in the time of a wild west in college sports, but this is something that is transformative and will shape two different sports with players leaving from the NFL to go back to college. We've heard of it going the other way, but it could be going the other way now. It's crazy.
Adam Schefter getting wound up. A little sugar on his Wheaties this morning. Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, adding to that entire discussion, filed an affidavit in one of the court cases, I think it's in Louisiana, speaking out against pros returning to the NCAA. He says it fuels disruption. It goes against the academic endeavor that it's been. As soon as I heard that, we have to get into this more. But I did this. I literally did this. Not in football, obviously. But can a college kid get a job and go back to college? People do that all the time. We literally encourage people to go back to college and further their education. Perhaps they need a rule. You get to bring 2 players back, or 1 or 3 or 4. I don't know what the number is. And then you don't have to cut people. The NBA's changed their roster rules all the time. They used to have 12-player rosters. And then they had 12, and they had an injured list. A guy's stashed on the injured list. So you can have 3 on the injured list, but no more because you're stashing. And then they finally just said, have a roster of 15. Stop with this injured list stuff. And they added 2-way players to go to the G League back and forth. Colleges just need to change their roster rules. I took a job as a sophomore as a part-timer at a radio station. Should that make me ineligible for college radio? No. I was still at the college radio station. And then my professional radio station went belly up because it was a bad idea and it cost a lot of money, and there was already an established station doing news and talk in the market. I'm out of college eligibility. I can't go back. I got to go to Australia now, play in the A-League with Joe Ingles. Do radio in Australia with Joe Ingles. No. If you don't like it because it's a tradition and what we're used to and you want to stick to the old rules, at least that's a coherent argument. But the whole, man, I thought Sankey got way off track there. Just, we know what we know. We like what we like. You don't want to bump people off rosters. Add a couple roster spots. You can tweak it. We've seen other leagues do it. Start acting like a pro sport. And this is where maybe conferences need to make their own rules. Because when the NCAA makes rules, then you can't do it because you got a monopoly here. It's restrained to trade. And that, I think, is why they're losing every court case. But if a conference does it, it'd be legit. I don't think at this point it's about NCAA incompetence. I think at this point it's about the Constitution. That's the issue. Not at other times that the NCAA hasn't lacked leadership and hasn't lacked vision, because they have, and they clearly got to take those hits. But I can't pile on them for every one of these court cases right now. The fact they're a national organization is working against them. I think conferences could draw up these rules pretty quickly. I was surprised, but Oklahoma coach Brent Venables agrees to a new 6-year contract, expected to average more than $10.5 million per season. I don't know if it's as bad a deal as James Harden. And Venables went to the playoff last year, but he still did it with half a team. The defense was great. The offense wasn't. I know Mateer had a thumb injury, and now he's a year older, and if he's healthier, maybe it'll go better. But man, they had a couple seasons before that were terrible. And now they are all in on Brent Venables. Okay, good for you. See how that works out. Right away when Oklahoma plays Michigan. Right away we'll find out. That could send either season headed the wrong way, given who both teams have to play later on. Which is why Indiana doesn't want to play a game like that. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Here it comes, and it's hit in the left center field. Well struck, and it's back towards the track, and it's gone! Over the wall! 3-run home run for Jordan Walker! His 26th of the year.
Pitch, fly ball center field. Back goes Rodriguez at the warning track. At the wall, it's gone! Garrett Mitchell goes deep, number 9, and there's your insurance run.
Here's pitch. Swung on a high fly ball. Right center field. Looking up to theirs, and there it goes. Home run for Luis Garcia Jr.'s 25th of the season, extends the lead for the Yankees to 4-1.
Yankees going to beat the Orioles 6-1. Yankees playing a little better baseball here, even though they don't have their team. Are they going to be healthy for the playoffs? Hard to believe they can do anything in the playoffs without Aaron Judge, but they're doing a nice job of staying afloat without him and with multiple injuries, and Bellinger's been out for a long time, so they're doing well. We had pitchers' duels, and we had people blowing games wide open. On the pitchers' duel side, the Braves shut out the White Sox 2-0, held Chicago to 1 hit. And that wasn't the only 2-zip one-hitter of the night. Rangers beat the Nationals 2-0 and held them to 1 hit. Move those games right along. Quick. You want a lot of runs. Cardinals beat the Reds 10-9. Cardinals 3 games over 500, kind of on the edge of the wild card race, trying to catch Arizona, San Diego, Philly. So at least they have to catch at least 2 of those 3 teams to get into the playoffs. They got a chance. There's still time. And the Angels, who are out of time and aren't going to do anything, but the Astros could, and the Astros got beat 18-3. Yikes. So they're high-scoring games of the day. Jacob DeGrom of the Rangers in that 2-0 win over the Nationals becomes the second fastest player to 2,000 strikeouts. Now that's a reflection of the fact that he came up as a position player and played as a position player in college and all that, switched to pitching in the minor leagues, came up late because of it. Because when you say he's fast, I mean, he's been around. Remember him with the Mets. He's with the Rangers now. And thinking, he can't be that young. I mean, he's in his 30s. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think he's in his early 30s either. I had to look it up. He's 38. So it's not in terms of age. It's in terms of number of games and number of innings pitched that he was the second fastest to 2,000. Because he's 38. Diamondbacks moving Marte to the 10-day injured list after his strange absence. They got to pull themselves together. That rocked them, and they had a bad series in Boston. Boston's a good team. They had a bad series anyway, but you got to think that was part of it. Kansas City Council says that $600 million for the Royals Stadium. The Royals are in for $700 million plus cost overruns, I think. So now they're going to want to get the rest of the money from the state of Missouri. And we'll see if they're motivated to hold on to that team, because the Chiefs took them and their state taxes across the state line. Are going to build a dome in Kansas in a couple of years. So we'll see what happens with the Royals. The A's stadium taking shape. If you haven't seen the photos online, they put on one of those big steel trusses. Is that the only place we use the word truss? T-R-U-S-S? I don't think it's used anywhere else. Somebody's building something if you say the word truss. Pictures are pretty cool if you haven't seen them. They've been out for a couple days now. DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
Aiden trapped, and Fears got his hand to deflect it. Numbers feeds Kohler. He'll get it.
Jackson Kohler laughing at that one.
Here at East Lansing, couple of dunks. Which one do you like better? Carr got up to the rim high. Jackson Kohler, hey, you know what? I could get up too, a little.
BYU basketball fans, this is the news you've been waiting for. Who are the big men? Are they going to run a 6-foot and under team this year in the Big 12? Because that won't go very well. They need some bigs. Well, they get a commitment from Michigan State big man Jackson Kohler. So there you go, Cougar basketball fans. As for BYU football, they're starting to compile draft lists because, of course, we have a whole college season to go and an NFL season and playoffs, and there's going to be a draft next April. So let's get the draft list going. BYU players on the list, to the surprise of no one, Isaiah Glasker. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Evan Johnson, L.J. Martin, Faletau Satuala, Keanu Tanavasa, and Kedu Olave. So I don't think there's any big surprises there. Mac was just talking about, we replayed that in the last segment, about Tanavasa and how good he was looking. And I think I think off the top of your head, most of you would have listed 4 or 5 of those guys, and you're not draft experts, but you still would have figured it out. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
We can talk about this with Steve Bartle. He's coming up, covers the Utes. He's going to join us in the next segment here in a few minutes. Morgan Scalley's alumni plan aiming to make Utah football family. And they want that to be family beyond the last snap. Some of the guys have stayed close to the program. Some guys have drifted away. Morgan wants to make it way more intentional. And he wants to enlarge the efforts and the staff. And I think there's multiple reasons to do this. I think it can help you in recruiting. You keep players connected. They might see high school players, diamonds in the rough somewhere, give you a tip. That might pay off occasionally. I think that showing players the benefit of being part of the extended family, staying somewhere 4 years. We talk about this with Fafita at Arizona. He's going to be a legend there, right? What are the advantages of staying in one place and not transferring? If you're getting outbid by $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, kids are going to transfer. But if the money's relatively close, maybe they don't. And we've seen that with NFL first-round draft picks who might have been lured away by Alabama. They were able to hold on to their star tight end. So I think Morgan's looking for every edge. How often it pays off, but he wants to keep more family around the program. And he's got some ex-teammates working on that. Also, Utah sued Freddie Whittingham over breach of contract. There's a lot of stuff in there. To me, it all comes down to there was a buyout fee in there, 75% of the money he's owned for the year, and then his prorated amount because he was actually under contract for 13 months. So it comes out to about $400,000. I think if he gets his $400,000, either Freddie cuts that check or Michigan does. It says in the Trib did a nice story on it in the Salt Lake Tribune, and they said like 6 other coaches were in the same situation, and their payments have been made. So I think all the other stuff in there is noise. When the U gets their $400,000 from Michigan or Whittingham or a Michigan booster or whoever, then I think this all goes away. But I think that is the crux of the issue. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
ESPN reporting Sergey Salon's contract extension, 4.5 years, significant raise. They need to do this. He is getting paid next to nothing. He's under $100,000, and he's got 9 goals. So get him under contract and pay him. He'd like some money for sure. He's a guy who bet on himself. He grew up in Spain, came to Oregon State, played there for a year, went to UCLA for a year. Now he's drafted. I think the thinking was he was good, but he was probably going to the Monarchs so he could play a lot. But they loved what they saw in Portugal. And then Victor Olacunci had an eye, and he had to start. And had an eye injury, and he has taken that job with both hands and not letting go. Now, 4.5 years gives him a chance to get even better and for them to sell him sooner rather than later. But not right away. In 4.5 years gives you a little runway. You have a little leverage. You know, they could keep him around for a couple years and then see if they want to move him and see how he develops. But he's got 9 goals, and he's finishing a low percentage of his chances. He has a lot of opportunities. He's been in behind the back line, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, unable to score so many times. I mean, he's got 9, and that's an awesome total for a rookie. That's fantastic. But if you've watched, you're thinking, he could easily have 15. It doesn't take that much imagination. He is creating chances. I mean, he is just a nightmare for people to deal with on back lines across the league. So he talked about it a little bit in the press conference, alluded to it, no details as far as the length, but they were clearly working on a contract, and it clearly looked like it was going to get done, and he was obviously happy about it. So he'll be here for a while. MLS planning a potential major overhaul to the playoffs, double elimination reseeding, going from 18 teams to 20. Man, I think the best format is March Madness, NFL playoffs. You get in front of the TV. It's what they do in the World Cup. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. Stick around for 2 or 3 hours. There's going to be drama and action. That's the way to go. But they want more playoff games because doesn't everybody? That's why baseball just expanded their playoffs. That's why college football's expanded their playoffs, and MLS is going to do it too. The best 2 out of 3 in the first round, I don't think anybody likes that. I think it takes too long and drains the drama, and people don't like it. RSL's back in action tomorrow at Orlando City, 5:30 for the start for that pregame show at 4:30 on 97.5 The Zone. Expecting heavy rotation because there are heavy legs. Going to be a lot of new faces. I guess 11 would be the maximum number. But I think even Cabral, and it was clear from Pablo's post-game comments, even Cabral could be rotated. If he can be rotated, everyone can. He has not missed a game in a year and a half. He's gone full-on Stockton, Malone. I mean, he hasn't been traded. He hasn't gone Big T, Thurl Bailey playing 84 games in an 82-game season. But he has been an Iron Man here. I'd have to do the math on it. I guess I'd better if the streak might end. I think he's right at 60 consecutive appearances over a year and a half. All right, DJ and PK, that's what's trending. Sponsored by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Don't quote me on the 60. When I do math live on the radio, bad things happen. I'm usually pretty good at it, but... All right, Steve Bartle next. Jason Kreis at 8 o'clock. Kevin Graham talking NFL at 8:30. We'll talk Utes with Steve next. Stay with us.